Hello, bonjour, bonsoir, depending on what time of day it is, where you are in the world. I am so happy to be talking with you right now. This is Mary Schiller, the fearless leader in this group. And let me just say, please type a comment anytime. I'm pretty sure I can see the comments here, courtesy of Facebook. If you are joining me live, please do take a moment to type a comment and say hello. Let me know where you are dialing in from and how you are feeling today on this beautiful Tuesday. Hi, Pam. Thanks for jumping on. If you're watching the replay, I want to say a big thank you for taking the time to do that as well. As always, this will be an interactive experience. So if you are on live, hi, Jack Ray Frazier, nice to see you. Please type a comment anytime. I will be watching over in that column. And if you're watching on the replay, pretend that you're watching it live and take part in the discussion because that can be extraordinarily beneficial too. So, how are you all doing today? Tell me how you're feeling. I will tell you that I am thrilled to be here. As you may have seen in some of the things that I sent out today on social media and by email, I am feeling a tad nervous about delivering this particular masterclass today because, hi, Kathy, because I have not ever delivered a class this way before. And so this is going to be a new experience for you and for me. My hope, of course, is that, hi, Jonathan. Yeah, I'm doing well. Hi, Lou. I had an allergic reaction to something yesterday that was affecting my my eyes. I had like a skin rash around my eyes, but that is gone. So all is good. Hi, Vatia. Less strong decaf. I don't drink coffee. I do enjoy tea though, but I have actually never drunk a full cup of coffee ever in my life because I can't stand the stuff. Hi, Rodka. Thank you for being here. So yeah, as you're jumping on, please do say hello and let me know how you're doing. As I was saying, I've never delivered a masterclass in this format before. Oh, thanks, Jonathan. This is my favorite of the ones I've gotten lately. This beret, I really like this black and white houndstooth. It's kind of cool. I had one of those. Hi, Vatia. Thank you. I had one of those times, and let me know in the comments if this sounds familiar to you, where you have something planned and you wake up the next day and you look at the plan and you go, no, that's not the plan anymore. Can you relate to that? Has that happened to you before where you just go, no, I don't think that's what I can do today, whatever the context is. Uh, and, I think in the past, I might have just gone with the original plan for this talk about how to get paid to be you and just said, well, it's fine. It's going to be a good talk. Yeah, Jack Ray says yes. And it would have been fine. It would have been totally fine. I had a very nice little, outline. I don't usually prepare tons for these master classes. I usually have some really, uh, clear bullet points of things that I want to cover, but I don't like write out the entire talk or anything like that. Hi, Batya. He's inspired us with something else. Maybe that is it. I don't know. I just know that when I got up this morning and was reviewing that outline for this talk, I just was like, no, that's not it. That's just not it. That's not what I want to talk about. And so this particular masterclass is coming in the context, it's kind of our finale of our Let's Get Visible several day event that we've had going on. And many of you signed up for the private podcast episode, the mini episodes that I had been sharing with you, the mini lessons. And we're culminating with this particular masterclass called How to Get Paid to Be You. And I realized that there was something bigger that I wanted to talk about in this context of getting paid to be you, and in the larger context of visibility and let's get visible. So, if you were going to attend a more typical, let's say, talk about getting paid to be you, I'm guessing it would include things like, and jump in the comments if you'd like to add to this list, but it would probably be focused on things like, what skills have you used over your lifetime that you could see turning into your own business? Does that ring any bells? Let's do an inventory of all of the things that you have learned to do over the years in whatever jobs or roles that you've had professionally. And let's see how we can transfer that into a business that you can do yourself. That is the more typical way of looking at this. And then we might take that into the visibility conversation and say, okay, well, how then do you make yourself visible so that people know what you're up to and how to find you? Does that sound familiar? Let me know in the comments. It does for me. Hi, Bati. Yes, I'd rather go with what I'd like to do. That's been festering, bubbling inside me for decades. We're getting there. We're getting there. I know that that is how a lot of people approach this. Hi, Michael. Seems terribly logical. First place to start, right? Okay. And Abatia mentioned inspiration. This is where I started several years. 2013, something like that. And that's where I started. And what ended up happening was I developed a business that I was good at, but I hated. I hated it. I was really good at it. I'm just saying. It had to do with websites and also videos. But it was not particularly fulfilling. It was not particularly fun. It didn't really give me much in the way of creative outlet. And I just really didn't like it. And it also took a lot of my time. So it just was not good. And the same was true with when I was freelancing for many years as a writer and kind of an advertising related creative producer. Um, it was the same thing where it was something that I was really good at, and I really was, but it didn't feel very impactful. I was writing brochures and I was bringing attention to certain things in my community, and all that was great, but it just didn't feel very fulfilling. At the time, though, that was the only way that I knew to look at things. And I have found, hi, Mimi, and I have found that even today in 2021, this is still how many people are looking at this whole idea of getting paid to be you, of starting their own business, being solopreneurs or coaches or whatever it is. They are looking at it from this angle of what skill do I have that I can monetize, or skills? What can I offer to people on my own instead of within the confines of a job? The thing is, though, when we look at ourselves that way, when we look at ourselves that way, what are we actually doing? When we look at ourselves from this angle of what about me can I monetize? What about me, what skill, what talent, whatever, what about me can I monetize? How is that any different from trying to fit into someone's job description and basically setting yourself up for a similar experience, just doing it on your own instead of in a job? Batya says selling ourselves short. That's a very appropriate way of saying it, selling ourselves short. Exactly. We're literally saying that we have to somehow um, divide ourselves into pieces and look at which of those pieces we can earn from. Bhatia, our soul may still be starving for expression. This is what I see as one of the biggest, and I'm not saying this using hyperbole, so I'm bouncing off of what you just said, Bhatia. I see this as one of the biggest problems that we face as human beings and as a society, because we have too many people who are looking at themselves from this angle of how can I make money from a skill that I have? What job can I get? Or what business could I create that will compensate me for a skill that I possess? Maybe you're a writer, maybe, like I was, or a website designer, or maybe you're a nutritionist or whatever it is. And so you end up picking yourself apart and trying to fit that part into the money segment of life. Kathy, I sense what you're saying. It's hard to put into words. Yes, so forgive me if this is not coming across well. Are you good enough? Where is the part that has value? When all of me has value and worth, I'm sensing something. Okay, so now you're starting to go with where I am, which is the title of this talk is not how to get paid for your skills or how to sell your skills so that you can have a successful online business. That is not what this masterclass is called. It's called How to Get Paid to Be You. And when I say you, capital YOU, I mean all of you. All of you, not the piece of you that you feel is valuable enough to get paid for. Because that is not an accurate representation of your value to this world, to me. I'll just say it plainly. To me, that doesn't represent your value to me. Batya, we all have our God, universe, higher power, given genius, craving to be shared and used. And that is one way of saying what is being repressed in most people is there is something within them that they keep tamping down and tamping down and tamping down. Even, this is the part that really just gets to me, even when they start their own business, like I did. I didn't understand back then what I do now, which is that you do not have to sell a skill per se in order to have an income producing business venture. You can actually get paid to be you. And by you, I mean you can use this vehicle, this incredible vehicle that is available to us in terms of entrepreneurship. You can use this vehicle as the beautiful method of self expression and along the way, self discovery, so that you don't have to keep living in this compartmentalized way that most of us are so used to living, we don't even know that we're doing it. The phrase that always gets me, I mean, literally, it always gets me, is work life balance. People are desperate for work life balance. That's what they say they're desperate for. They say they want work life balance and they're frustrated because they don't have enough time to do what they want to do and they don't have enough time. Oh, vehicle, I'm in entrepreneurship, doing your own thing. People are desperate to have more balance in their life, right? Well, work life balance, the way that we talk about it, is, to me, is an absolutely ludicrous phrase. It's absolutely ludicrous. When you are attempting to balance what you do for work with your life, what is that saying about how your life is being lived by you? What is that actually saying? To me, you're welcome. To me, it's saying that you're never going to have work life balance because you are not focusing on what it means to you to be alive. What does it mean to you to be alive? What are the things that you want to be spending your time on? What are the things that you want to be expressing that you keep tamping down and holding in because you feel there is no place for that in your life? And these are big questions. These are big questions. And I'm asking them this way because I want to kind of shake things up here. And in a moment, I'm really going to shake things up. So just stick with me. But when we keep trying to compartmentalize ourselves in this way, when we've stopped seeing ourselves as whole human beings, when we keep trying to find some weird balance between how we're spending most of our time and how we want to be living, something is really wrong here. Really, really wrong. What if we've run up against obstacles in our dream job? I'm not sure exactly what that means, Batya, but my guess is that we can be in what we think might be a dream job, and then things arise that don't fit us. And that can be, a very difficult experience to have. My my whole point, my reason for being, frankly, is that I want to create a space for people to express themselves fully. And in that fully expressed state, it becomes much easier to uh, to see and act on opportunities that arise. What makes it hard to see and act on opportunities is when we have this very disjointed view of what we are, these pieces of ourselves that we've kind of put all over the place, trying desperately to make all of the pieces fit, instead of asking ourselves, holy, you know what? What is it that I actually want to be doing with my time all day? Do I want to be going to this job from 8 to 5? Is that what I really want? Is that my mode of expression? Or do I have a sense when I am doing this job that I am holding a lot back? Because if it's the latter, that truth is more important for you to recognize than almost anything else in your life. And I'm kind of choked up as I'm saying this, because if we keep pushing that down and pushing that aside and saying, okay, well, this job or this situation that I'm in is good enough. What kind of life is that? Or, well, most days it's fine. Most days it's okay. You know, I can live with it. It pays the bills. I get benefits. It's got insurance and the retirement plan. Is that really what you were put here to do? You know, many years ago now, maybe 5 years ago or something, someone that I follow on social media had this post, and it said something like, your job is not to work and pay the bills and retire and then die. That's not what you were put here to do. It's not what you were put here to do. You were put here to be a fully expressed human being. So tell me in the comments, and I want you to be honest, because that's the only way this works, is do you feel that you are living your life as a fully expressed person, that the choices that you make from moment to moment to moment to moment are based on what you want to say, who you want to be, the activities that you want to engage in? Are you living that way? And if you're not, it's totally okay, because I've been there myself. And I'm going to talk about that in just a couple minutes. If you're finding yourself, Mimi says no. Okay, thank you, Mimi. I appreciate your honesty so, so much. If you find yourself compromising often, saying yes to things that you really don't want to do, feeling like you are obligated to go to a specific job that is just not doing it for you, you might be getting the bills paid, but so what? The bills can get paid in lots of other ways, and lots more easily, when we start to see ourselves and experience ourselves as whole humans that have so much in us that is getting held down through the decisions that we keep making over and over and over and over again. I used to um look at this. Oh, I'm sorry about you. Values play a huge role here. I can't insult someone if it would be more prudent to speak nicely. That's not exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah. You'd be excited to go to work. Exactly. Hi, Michael. No, I like some pieces of my life better than others. Thank you for that. I think that sentiment is common. We like pieces of our life, but not everything. And my whole aim with not this talk, just this talk, but with everything that I do, is I desire, one of my biggest desires is that you love your life, all of it, all the ups and downs, all every piece of it, because every piece of it is you. And we don't need to be parceling ourselves out and trying to make do in some areas. You know, we don't have to do that. That is an option not to do anymore. We don't have to go there. Hi, Lynn. I stopped saying yes to things I don't want to do years ago. I can't imagine living any other way now. I can't either. I can't either. Because the idea that I am making a decision to say yes to something, and it is a decision. This is the thing that I hear people say a lot of the time was, well, I don't have a choice. I got to get the bills paid. I don't have a choice. I have to go to this job. I don't have a choice. There's no other options. That is just not true. That is a decision that we are making. And I was there. I have been there. I have been there where things in my life that I didn't like, I really felt like I didn't have a choice about them. It was when I realized that I was making a choice. I was actively making a choice to stay in things that didn't really fit with me. That I was, deciding unconsciously maybe, but still deciding to do things that didn't feel aligned with me and what I wanted to express. That was when everything just broke wide open in my life. I no longer felt the need to, say that certain parts of my life were okay, I could live with them. That is not acceptable to me. That is a no-go. If there is something in my life that I don't like, I either get rid of it or I fix it, like right now. I don't wait around because why should I? And why would I? Why would we ever? This is the big question for me. Why would we ever accept something? This is our life. This is our life. Why would we ever, ever, ever accept something that was less than we wanted? Because we're afraid? Because we think we can't make something work that looks more fun? Like we think it's going to be too hard? People come up with all sorts of, I'm going to use the E word, excuses for why they haven't done XYZ. And the truth is that usually it's because they're afraid. They're afraid to step forward. They're afraid to step into a new zone that's unfamiliar with them, to them. They're afraid to mess up. They're afraid to fail, afraid to look stupid. The whole theme of getting visible is not just in the context, if you've been following along, it's not at all really about the context of being visible like online. It's about expressing ourselves, about taking what is inside and bringing it out, and the kind of energy that is generated from that action. Every time you and I deny something we want, every time you and I say no to something we want, every time you and I accept something that is less than what we want, that is settling or compromising, guess what is happening? Guess what's happening? You can tell me in the comments, but think about the effect of that across the globe. How many people are living lives that are not the fullest expression of what they could be, either because they have decided to accept less or because of where they live? They're bound by certain societal rules that prevent them from doing this. You and I, if you're on here, you do have a choice. You do have a choice to make a different decision and to decide to live as a fully expressed human. That is a choice that you have. And every time you do make that choice, that has a positive ripple effect on others. Every time you and I make a choice not to do that, that has a ripple effect on other people too. Tell me in the comments if you have noticed that when you've made a choice to say something, to express something outwardly, that maybe you've been holding in, that you've noticed almost an immediate positive benefit, not just to you, but maybe to someone else? Has that ever happened to you before? Where you've stepped up into something and you said, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to say this, I'm going to just do this thing. You've taken that step, and suddenly it's like, wow, there's somebody responding, or somebody noticed and really liked what I did. That's amazing. And you have to ask yourself, what is the risk? What am I so scared of? What am I so afraid of? Nikki says 100%. Lou, yes, an immediate ripple. Batya, when I express my real emotions, I feel catharsis, and therefore other people are going to sense that. Batya, Lynn, yes. Jack, yes, absolutely. So, what is the downside? What is the downside of self expression? Um, Kathy says, no, just more trouble for me. Kathy, be quiet. We keep telling you not to. Who is saying that to you, Kathy? I hope you're being facetious because you're in my world and I see what you're up to. I see what you're up to. If that happens, if what Kathy said actually happens, is that a reason to stop? Is it a reason to stop because somebody says, I don't like what you just said? Is that a reason? Tell me. I'd like to know what you think, really. Lynn, yes, I noticed yesterday when I shared an article that revealed my vulnerability. Many people commented like it. Sometimes it feels rude. Bachi says, it can feel rude, but in the end, it is not our job to impress people. It's not our job to please people. Our job as human beings is to express ourselves and be happy. If you are lacking an undercurrent of joy and happiness in your life, the reason, in my view, from all of the people that I have worked with and from going through massive self discovery, has to do with repressing what you really desire and not expressing yourself in this world, in this life. Because every time we take a step towards self expression, every time we put ourselves forward and we just say, screw it, I'm going to do this, there can be all kinds of feelings of fear and all of that, but underneath it is almost like relief and absolute joy and happiness, like, wow, I'm really showing up as me and it's totally okay. Let's see. There's a way of how to say things. There's your way, and there's my way, and there's Lou's way, and there's Michael's way, and Lynn's way. We each have our own way, and that is exactly what I'm talking about here. There isn't one way or one right way to show up in this world, to make yourself visible, to express yourself. We each have our own way. Hi, Lou says, no, it's not a reason to stop. It's just their fear talking. Yeah. Mimi, I've learned that when you share from love instead of fear, all is well. Well, I agree with that, except for the fact that I am terrified right now. I am being as transparent as I can possibly be, because I'm going to shift gears in a little bit here in a minute. And I have had so much fear running through me all day today, and it's still there. And yet I'm still here sharing this with you because I feel so passionately about what I am saying. And I am so grateful that you are here and you're participating and you're listening and you're paying attention and you're part of this discussion with me. It means the world to me. It absolutely means the world to me. This is part of my self expression. This is me being visible. This is me saying something that I am putting out there with no expectation at all that it will be appreciated, that I will get paid for it. There is no expectation like that whatsoever. And the way that you get paid to be you is to show up from that place every day, because that is how you are designed. You are not designed as a repressive being. In one of the trainings, I think some of you were on this training, I made the comparison to a tree. I might have even said it in another masterclass here. What would happen if a single redwood tree, because I love the big redwoods in California, what would happen if a single redwood tree decided that it was going to repress itself and it was only going to grow a foot tall? What would the ramifications of just one tree deciding somehow to keep itself small, to keep from growing to its fullest expression? The planet might actually die from something like that. I actually thought that might be a good story to write. What would be the ramifications of that? Yet that is how most people are living, because we've been taught to stay in these boxes, to compartmentalize ourselves, and to stay where we are put, and to stay where it feels safe, instead of realizing that the safety is actually within us. That is where the safety is. Our entire internal environment is pure safety, and yet we act like it isn't. Mimi, you may be terrified, but you're sharing from love. Oh, that's true. That's true. That is true. So I'm going to give you a very meta example. I love that word, meta, M-E-T-A, because I am literally going through this right now myself. And this is not what I had planned to share with you on this talk. And I ran across a quote. I was kind of half looking for it, and then I found it. It's a quote from Yogi Berra. I don't know if anybody watching knows who Yogi Berra is. Michael might know. He was a very, very popular baseball personality in the United States. And there's a quote by him that says, "When you come to a fork in the road, take it." When you come to a fork in the road, take it. I love that quote so much. And the context in which he said this is really fantastic. He was giving directions to his home to another baseball personality, Joe Garagiola. Some of you may know him too. And what he meant was, literally, when you come to the fork in the road, take it, because each one leads to my house. He's laughing. But think about what this means, what it really means. When you come to a fork in the road, take it. What I have taken from that quote, and how I have been living my life these last 5 years in particular, is that I simply take whichever way looks the most interesting to me. I knew you guys would like that quote. I take whichever way looks the most interesting. Which one looks like the most fun? Which one looks like me? And that is where I have found myself over the past few months. And I've come to that fork in the road just in the past week, where I realized that there is something that I have not been expressing in my business at all in the last 5 years since I started. And I have been consciously repressing it. And I realized just very recently that I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to continue to shut something off inside myself that has been there for a long time and has probably been slowly pushing its way forward. And I just kept saying no to it because I was afraid. I was afraid that if I started talking about this specific thing, that it would turn people off. I was afraid that if I started talking about this specific thing, that people wouldn't understand. They would take it the wrong way. They would, you know, wonder, well, who does she think she is talking about this topic? And just within the past few days, I came to the conclusion that if I keep holding this back, I am having the same effect as that tree, stopping itself from growing, stopping itself from being its fully expressed self in all of its glory. And what's so interesting to me about this is that I know this won't be the last time that this happens, because there are always things that we will discover about ourselves that we haven't expressed at all. You know, I'd love to hear in the comments if you have the sense that there is perhaps one big thing that you're keeping inside. Or maybe it's a bunch of small things, but for me, it's been one big thing. And I'll tell you what that is in just a second, that I have not spoken about. And for all of the reasons that I just said. And as I came to that fork in the road, I realized this is not the way that I want to live. I don't want to live a life that doesn't feel like it's fully me. Capital M, marry me. Lou says, yep, a big thing. Batya, feel the fear and do it anyway. Susan Jeffers. Yeah, exactly. It's like if everybody collectively, Lynn says a big thing for me. I'm glad I'm not alone. I have to say that helps a lot. So thank you for that. If everyone collectively decided, you know what, I am just going to say what I want to say in the world in the way that I want to say it, whether it's through art or talking or whatever the format is, it doesn't matter. Whatever the form of expression is, doesn't matter. If everyone were able to, depending on their life circumstance, what country they live in and all that, but all of us here can certainly do this. If we made that decision right now to make that thing visible, to make that piece of our self-expression that has been shoved down and shoved down and shoved down, if we made that visible and just said it right out loud, or typed it in the comments, or you shared it someplace, what might the powerful effect of that be? I am convinced, Lynn says writing, I'd want to do more of it. Fantastic, because I am convinced that if we could individually and collectively make this decision to be visible, us, big Lynn, big Batya, big Lou, big Mary, big Michael, you know, the thing that is not fully contained in our bodies, but is living and breathing inside this gorgeous container that we're in, this beautiful mind that we have, and this beautiful heart that we have. If we made that visible, how might that change things? For us as individuals, yeah, it could be scary. Like, I'm scared right now. I'm going to share what it is in a second. I'm scared right now. And at the same time, I'm done keeping it in. I'm just done. Lynn, I find with writing I can be most authentic and vulnerable, yet I'm fearful for what people will think. I'm going to repeat what I said, and this is helpful for me too. It's not our job to worry about what people will think. Our job is self expression. Our job is to grow into our fullest self before we're not here anymore. That is what we are meant here to do. And if you're asking yourself right now, oh, I want to lead the women's world in song, that's gorgeous, Vadia. Oh my gosh, how beautiful. You know, if you're wondering, well, you've been talking for 45 minutes, Mary, and you haven't said anything about money, I'm going to say basically two sentences about this. When you are more fully expressed as a human being, when you are stepping into your voice, when you're making yourself visible, when you are stepping into this new way of being, the money part becomes obvious. It starts to take care of itself. When I did this originally 5 years ago, I had no trouble earning money because people were attracted to my authenticity. Some of you have known me since then, so you can tell me my authenticity, my oh, thanks, Lynn. My way of saying things was my own. I wasn't copying someone else. I have always, during this whole time that I've been in business, every time I have reached a new level of understanding and of discovery, I have brought it to you. And I think that that is why it has not been difficult for me to have people pay me. They're not paying me necessarily to learn what I know. They oftentimes are paying to be in this kind of environment that I have created on this call right now. They're paying to be in a space where they can be honest, they can ask questions, they can assert their own inner power and all of those things. And the, as I said a little while ago, when you are living in that internal environment, the opportunities become more obvious. You don't have to be searching and trying to, fit yourself into some niche or whatever. The niche is you. I just said this to someone else today. You are the niche. You are the thing. So for me, the thing that is crying out in me to be visible and to be out there is my view on safety and women. If you know anything about me, I'm not assuming you do, but if you do, you know that I have a history of domestic violence and all of that. And I was able to come through that through a process of recognizing that I no longer had to be afraid of myself, that the internal environment that I was living in that looked so terrifying to me and looked so scary was actually totally safe. It took me 30 years to recognize that fact. But when I did, everything in my life changed. And I want to speak specifically to that now for women in particular who feel a threat of safety all the time in the external world, and then also create within ourselves an internal world that seems unsafe. And that is what I want to start talking about and addressing, because I think I can make an impact there. I believe I can make an impact on women who have gone through trauma. I feel I can make an impact on women who feel stuck, who feel afraid to be themselves. That is where I want to start putting my energy. I want to create more spaces for women to express themselves and explore who they are and be who they are. And that is what I have been shoving down and shoving down and shoving down, because I didn't want to be the poster child for post-traumatic stress disorder or trauma recovery or any of that. That's not what I wanted to be. And I decided that, you know what? That's not my responsibility. If I express myself in a certain way, if I talk about certain topics and people put that label on me, well, then they do. There's nothing I can do about that. And it doesn't even matter, because I can't. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mimi. I really appreciate that. It's hard to say these things out loud. It really is. But I wouldn't be much of a first of all, I wouldn't be much of a coach if I came onto this masterclass about visibility and getting paid to be you and wasn't transparent and saying I've been holding stuff back too and now I'm not. Here's where I'm at as of a few days ago. This is where I've landed. This is what wants to be expressed through me. Is this message that even though we have been told in various ways that it's not safe to be who we are, it actually is safe to be who we are. That there is nothing scary in there. We can see our internal space differently. We can experience our internal space differently. And we can bring what's in there outward without fear taking over. Hi, Batya. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, exactly. And, maybe I can be one of those resources, Batya. That is my aim. So, kind of bringing this full circle, we, in my mind, oh, thank you, Lynn. I so appreciate that. In my mind, we need to start making conscious choices about what we are actually doing with our precious time. Oh, thank you, Anne. I know. Well, for the reasons I said, really, I didn't want to be labeled as certain things, and you know, all of those fears and things. And I feel like it is our responsibility as human beings to make more conscious decisions about how we're spending our time instead of just going through the motions on most things. Instead of accepting things that don't really fit with us, that don't really feel like us, but they're kind of okay, you know? And for all of these years, I don't want to say that I wasn't expressing things genuinely because I have been. There has been this thing in the back, kind of bubbling in the background that was kind of like there, and I was trying to sort of ignore it. And I really do believe that because I have changed my coaching this year much more in this direction of what kind of energy am I living in? What kind of energy am I accepting in my life that I want to change? What do I want? What I've been saying, what do I want the merry vibe to be? And I realized I don't want the merry vibe to have any sense of repression in it at all. That is gone. Bye bye. Oh, thank you, Batya. I so appreciate that. Thank you. That was a conscious decision that I made. If I want to continue to be someone who is leading you, who is putting myself forward around visibility and where you're putting your energy and how you're spending your time and getting paid to be you and all of these things as a solopreneur, then my vibe needs to be the one that I want it to be, which is expressing myself, not repressing myself, so that I can continue to engage with you from that vantage point and be an example of that and create a space where you can do that too. That is my aim, is to really live a life of expansion, not contraction, of continually opening up space for you and for me, for all of us to step into and be who we are and not have all of these fears overwhelm us all the time. Because I know that that is a big factor for a lot of people. And so, getting paid to be you means you can be you in total. And when you are you more and more and more, because this is a never-ending process, right, of discovery and stepping forward. When you are more and more you, that money piece, it becomes so obvious that you wonder why you even worried about it in the first place. Mimi, I just realized I have something like that I'm holding in. Oh, very interesting. Well, I'm glad this talk jarred it loose. Has that happened for other people? I noticed a few of you mentioned that before, that you feel like there's something that's been, woken up. So this talk was not at all what I had planned last night. This is how it is to be able to consciously decide, I'm going to express what is in me right now, in this moment. I'm not going to hold back anymore. Hi, Nikki. Thank you. And if this kind of experience is what you would love to have, oh, thank you, Lou. Yeah, it woke up a few things in me too. If this is the kind of experience that you want to have, I have something for you to experience this. And that is my practice space. Let's get visible. That is what that 2.5 week program that starts next Monday is all about. It's all about waking up. It's all about expression instead of repression. When I ran that program in January, I was honestly amazed. And I'm not just saying this because I was running it, because I don't feel like it was me so much as the space that was created when people started to express themselves. I was amazed at the shifts I saw in people. As some of you in here were in that. It was incredible. And I thought, I've got to run this again, because I can see how this kind of energy has such an amazing effect on other people, that I have to keep creating spaces for people to say what they want to say. Oh, thank you, Linda. I know. I look back on that and just go, I can't even express what happened in there. When you give yourself permission in a supportive space to literally practice being more of yourself, practice saying things that you have felt like you couldn't say, but you've been wanting to share and wanting to bring out of yourself, messages that you have. There's nothing like that. And the reason I've called it a practice space is because I want people to feel safe. That's a big word for me, in case you can't tell. To practice this before you take it out into the public realm. You can share things with us, and you can be yourself, and you can see how incredible it is to step forward and do that. Lynn, I think it's great that you're following this calling. I think you're the right person to help others who struggle with this. I always admire your communication skills. You have a great gift of expressing. Oh, you're so nice. It's inspiring to see how at ease you are with it. Oh, I'm so glad. I want to inspire people. I also want to inspire people to take action. And that is a big piece of Let's Get Visible. It's not the kind of program you join and you just sit and listen and watch. It's very participatory. So if you are looking for a place to be more of who you are and to really have a safe and supportive experience of that, Let's Get Visible is the place you want to be. It really is. It's one of the things that I have created recently in the last couple of years that I feel so passionate about it, because of what I saw happen when I ran it earlier this year. So if that is something that you want to do, all you have to do is send me a direct message and I will give you the sign up link. I have made some substantial changes to the practice space Since I ran it in January, I lengthened it to give people even more time to kind of rev their engines and really get going and really get into it. So it's about 2.5 weeks long now. I have made it easier for you to access all of the recordings of the trainings so you can listen to them as you want to during the program, and afterwards you can have them. And I'm just so proud of this program that I have created. I would love to have you in it. The cost is $555, and it's I looked at that price today and I thought I should probably charge twice as much. I'm being very transparent. When I look at the effect that that environment has had on people, it really brings tears to my eyes. There are payment plans available to you if that would help. There's 2 or 3 different payment plans available. So that is what I have to share with you today. And it would thrill me to take this next step with you and to have you as part of the, oh, thank you, Lynn, of the practice space of Let's Get Visible. It would mean the world to me. And I guess I will close this out by saying that we all eventually come to that fork in the road, as Yogi Berra said. We come to that fork in the road and we take it. And if you're at that fork in the road and you want to take it, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. So reach out to me if you would like to be part of this experience of Let's Get Visible, and let's continue this conversation and these actions together. Do you have any questions about anything before we sign off? I can say that the live trainings in the course it's taught live are all in the evening Paris time to try to accommodate as many people as possible. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Um, so I will say goodbye for now. Au revoir, à bientôt. And you know where to find me if you'd like to join. The program starts April 19th. Thank you so much for being here and for participating and for bringing your energy to this conversation. Oh, yes, of course, Mimi. So the program focuses on bringing your message outward. So in other words, we work together to clarify what it is that you would like to share in the world. You get practice at actually doing that several times. There's many projects throughout the program, and you get practice on actually being heard by other people and having the experience of having an audience of people listening to you and responding to you. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So it really is much more of a practice space, even though I have several live trainings that I give in there. It's really a space for you to practice being more you, for you to practice being visible, for you to practice reaching new depths of yourself and bringing that to the fore. And that's really what happened for the people who went through it in January. Was they started maybe at a little bit more of a surface level and then very quickly accelerated to really speaking up and sharing from the deepest place in themselves and making that visible. I also am including a new segment that I did not have in January with some practical elements of being visible. So that is a new training that I am offering. So did that help, Mimi? I hope so. If not, please reach out to me and I will give more details. Thank you, everybody. It's been a wonderful experience for me. And I just love you so much. Thank you for being here and for giving me your energy. Oh, you're welcome, Mimi. It's meant the world to me. I will talk to you again soon. DM me or email me, mary@maryschiller.com, for details about Let's Get Visible and how to join. Thank you, Jonathan, so much. All right. I'll talk to you again soon, everybody. Thank you so very much. Bye. Thank you, Mimi. Bye. You're so kind.